Welcome to the Deep Dive. Just a quick note before we start. If you enjoy what we do here, maybe consider buying me a coffee. You can just scan the QR code in the podcast cover art. It really helps us keep making these deep dives. Thanks so much. Okay, so today we're taking a slightly different kind of journey. Less about the destination maybe, and more about, well, the journey itself.
Exactly. We're diving into the experience of exploring Vietnam by train.
Right. Using all the sources you've sent us, articles, notes, personal accounts. And our mission really is to cut through the noise, give you a shortcut to understanding what this is really like, beyond the usual tourist stuff.
Uncover some of the surprising bits, the things you might miss if you just, say, flew between cities.
Totally. So let's unpack this, the allure of hopping on a train in Vietnam.
Okay. So yeah, our task for this deep dive is basically distilling the essence of Vietnamese train travel from all that material. We're talking practicalities, booking, comfort, but also those unique moments, the aha moments.
And you mentioned flights. It really is a different world, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's the first big takeaway from the sources. Flying gets you there fast, sure, but the train, it offers this deeper immersion. You see the countryside change. You feel the pace of the country in a way a plane just skips over.
Yeah, a connection.
Yeah.
And the sources make it clear not all train routes are the same. Some are described as like pure magic.
Definitely not created equal, no.
Yeah.
Some stretches are just stunning.
So let's start up north. The Hanoi to Hue route comes up a lot. It's about, 13 hours?
Around 13 hours, yeah. Often run as a night train. And the descriptions, it sounds incredible. Winding through countryside, past those vivid green rice paddies, lush hills.
Can you sort of paint a picture? What makes that particular ride special, especially doing it overnight?
Well, the sources really emphasize this almost romantic, peaceful feeling, drifting off to the rhythm of the train.
Clickety-clack.
Exactly. And then waking up and the whole landscape outside your window has changed. It really embraces that whole idea of slow travel where the journey is the experience.
But if you're after pure visual drama...
Then the consensus is clear. Hue to Da Nang. That's the showstopper.
Okay, Hue to Da Nang, unparalleled, you said earlier.
Yeah.
What's the magic ingredient there?
It's all about the Haivan Pass. It's legendary. This stretch, maybe 3 or 4 hours, gives you these incredible sea cliffs plunging down to the water, dense jungle climbing up the hillsides, mountains. It's all just right there, outside your window.
Wow. Sounds intense.
It is. And the sources are adamant. You have to do this bit during daylight. Don't waste those views on an overnight leg through here.
Good tip.
Yeah, and there's a great pro tip mentioned. If you're short on time, just doing Hue to Da Nang gives you the best visual bang for your buck. They're like Vietnam's greatest hits, concentrated.
Right, maximum beauty, minimum time.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, but for the real train buffs, the ones who want the full experience, the sources talk about the longest route. Da Nang down to Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City.
Ah, yes, the big one. That's around 17 to 19 hours on the train.
19 hours. Wow.
Yeah, it's the heart of the Reunification Express. That's the famous name for the whole North-South line, Hanoi to HCMC.
So does the scenery hold up for that long? What about further south after Da Nang?
It does, but it changes. South of Nha Trang, the sources describe more stunning coastline, loads of coconut groves, these really wide open skies. It feels vast. Less dramatic mountains like the Haivan Pass, maybe, but more of that serene coastal beauty.
Okay, so different vibes along the way. Which brings us to, well, the practical stuff, right? How does someone actually plan this? Booking tickets, making sure you're comfortable for potentially almost a whole day on a train.
Crucial question. Because, yeah, a potentially amazing trip can go sour pretty quickly if you mess up the basics.
So booking. Let's slow down. Any traps to avoid?
Okay, this is where the sources get really specific. Booking can be super smooth or, as one source put it, a trap.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
The absolute number one rule seems to be avoid sketchy sources. That means stay away from random Facebook pages offering tickets. Definitely avoid the overly friendly folks hanging around outside stations trying to help you up.
Right, the doubts.
Exactly. And be wary of booking through hotels unless they can clearly show you they're using the official website or a recognized platform. Sometimes they add a huge markup.
Okay, so those are the things not to do. What are the safe, reliable ways to get tickets?
Good news is there are solid options. The official Vietnam Railway site is dsvn.vn. It works, it's legit, but the sources warn it can be a bit challenging to navigate, especially if you don't read Vietnamese, though there is an English option. Patience is needed.
Okay, official but potentially tricky. What else?
Then you've got apps or websites like Bailau or 12Go Asia. These come highly recommended. They're designed for tourists, easy to use in English, and they just charge a small fee for the convenience. Probably the easiest route for most international travelers.
Sounds like the way to go for simplicity.
Likely. Or you can still go old school. Head to the main ticket counters at the big stations, like in Hanoi or Saigon. Look for the window marked English help. But whichever way you book, and this is important, double, triple check your carriage number and your seat or berth type.
Why is that so critical?
Because apparently trying to switch once you're actually on the train is incredibly difficult, if not impossible. Get it right when you book.
Okay, solid advice. Book carefully, check everything. Now let's talk comfort. Because, like you said, 17, 19 hours. That's a long time. What are the options like inside the train?
Right. Comfort is absolutely key, isn't it? The sources basically break it down into two main categories. You've got first class, which is usually called soft sleeper.
Soft sleeper, okay.
Typically, these are 4-berth cabins, so 4 beds in a compartment. Sometimes you can find even fancier 2-berth VIP cabins, though they're less common and pricier.
What makes them soft?
They come with, well, softer bedding compared to second class. You get pillows, blankets, usually curtains for privacy around your bunk, often USB charging ports now, which is great, and generally it's much quieter. The toilets are basic, but usually kept reasonably clean, at least at the start.
Sounds pretty decent.
Oh.
Who is this best for?
The sources suggest this is definitely the way to go for couples, solo travelers wanting peace, or families who want their own space. Basically, anyone prioritizing a relatively quiet and comfortable ride, especially overnight.
Okay, so that's first class soft sleeper. What's the alternative? Second class.
Second class usually means either a hard sleeper or just a soft seat.
Hard sleeper. Doesn't sound too appealing.
Yeah, the name says it all. These are usually 6-berth cabins, so 3 bunks stacked on each side. It's much tighter, less space, less privacy. The bedding is more basic.
And soft seats.
Those are more like airline seats, but on a train. The sources say they're fine for maybe a short daytime journey, like that Hue to Da Nang stretch. But for overnight, definitely not recommended. You won't sleep well.
Right. Any other differences with second class?
Yeah, generally it's noisier, often more crowded with local families traveling, which can be part of the experience, but maybe not if you need sleep. And unfortunately, the sources mention cigarette smoke can sometimes be an issue in the connecting areas or near the toilets.
Ah, okay. Less than ideal.
There was actually a very direct quote in one source aimed at maybe older travelers.
Yeah.
If you're over 45 and not a backpacker anymore, go first class. It's worth every dong.
Huh? Okay. Pretty blunt. But it makes the point, doesn't it? Spend a bit more for significantly more comfort.
Exactly. It really highlights that the extra cost for first class can fundamentally change your experience from endurance test to enjoyable journey.
Okay, so you've booked your ticket, hopefully in the right class for you. What about actually living on the train for all those hours? Let's talk essentials. Food and safety.
Right. Food first. There are food carts that come through the train.
Where they sell.
Basic stuff mostly. Sticky rice, maybe some boiled eggs, definitely instant noodles, pho in a pot. It's functional. But the strong advice from pretty much all sources is bring your own snacks.
Like what?
Oh, anything. Fresh fruit, grab a delicious banh mi sandwich before you board, maybe some nuts, cookies. One source even suggested bringing a thermos with your own tea or coffee. It just makes the journey much nicer.
Good call. And the toilets. You mentioned they're basic.
Yes, basic is the word. And the universal advice is use them earlier rather than later in the journey. Their condition tends to, let's say, decline over time.
Understood. Pack supplies.
Absolutely. Bring your own toilet paper or tissues, wet wipes, and definitely hand sanitizer. Essential kit.
Okay, good heads up.
Yeah.
What about keeping yourself and your stuff safe? Any concerns?
Generally, it seems pretty safe, but standard precautions apply. Keep valuables, passport, phone, wallet on your person, maybe in a money belt or secure pocket, especially when sleeping. Don't leave expensive things just lying around.
Makes sense.
And for bigger bags, there's often a chain or hook under the bottom bunk in the sleeper cabins that you can use to secure your luggage, maybe with a small padlock. Just adds peace of mind.
Right. Now, one thing that comes up is the lack of Wi-Fi. For hours, maybe even a day. How do the sources frame that?
Interestingly, most frame it not as a negative, but almost as the beauty of it.
Really? A
But-
feature, not a bug.
Kind of, yeah. It's presented as this forced opportunity to actually disconnect, to put the phone down, look out the window, watch the landscape roll by, read that book you packed, maybe journal a bit.
A digital detox on rails.
Exactly. One source described the quiet magic of hearing the train click-clacking through the dark past little villages late at night. It's about being present in the moment, something we don't get much chance to do normally.
That actually sounds really appealing now you put it like that. Less distraction, more observation.
Precisely. It forces you to slow down mentally as well as physically.
To make this more real, the sources mention a specific traveler, right? Cindy.
Yes, Cindy, a 52-year-old British expat. And she did the whole thing, the full 30-hour reunification express journey from Hanoi all the way down to Saigon.
30 hours. Why did she choose the train over just flying?
Her reasoning, according to the source, was pretty simple. She'd done enough airports. She wanted to actually see Vietnam, not just hop between cities. And she wanted to slow down. She had the time.
I get that. So what was her highlight? Did she mention that Haivan Pass?
She absolutely did. Called it the best part. She said something like, just before sunset, we passed those cliffs, and I thought, this is why people come to Vietnam. That really stuck with her.
Well, it's more than just scenery though, right? The experience.
Definitely. And that connects to the bigger picture, the human element. Her other highlight wasn't a view, it was an interaction. Sharing some peanuts and trying to communicate in broken English with a Vietnamese grandfather heading south to visit his grandkids.
Ah, that's lovely.
Exactly. It's those unexpected, authentic little moments, connections you just never make sealed inside a plane cabin or rushing through an airport. Slow travel facilitates that.
Did Cindy have any final tips for people thinking about doing it?
Yeah, very practical ones. Bring earplugs and a neck pillow essentials for sleeping on the move. And crucially, manage your expectations. She said, don't expect 5-star anything. But if you lean into it, it's a real experience, not a commute.
Lean into it. I like that. It's about embracing the journey, warts and all.
That's the essence of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Accept it for what it is. An adventure.
So wrapping this all up, it feels like train travel in Vietnam is way more than just getting from A to B.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's an adventure, like Cindy said. It's a bit nostalgic, maybe. And it's definitely a slower, deeper way to connect with the country.
Absolutely. It offers something flights just fundamentally can't. That real, tangible link to the land unfolding outside your window and the potential for those small human interactions along the way.
It really makes you see the country, not just fly over it.
Which leads to, I think, quite an important question, relevant beyond just Vietnam. In this world that's always telling us to go faster, faster, optimize everything, what are we actually missing? What insights slip away when we don't allow ourselves the deliberate slowness of a journey like this?
That's a great thought to end on. What gets lost in the rush? Maybe something valuable.
Perhaps. Something worth pondering anyway. Maybe it encourages us all to think about incorporating a bit more slow travel into our lives.
Absolutely. So if this has piqued your interest or you know someone dreaming of Vietnam, maybe share this deep dive with them. It might just nudge them towards the train tracks for a truly unforgettable experience.